Welcome, lads and lassies, to a very special spooky story time where we're going to tell a story about Bagpipes, Beasties and Boggles by Tim Archbold. This is a story from Scotland long ago. If you trudged a twisty track and rambled in the rain, if you jumped a thistle thicket and splashed across a stream, if you climbed a heather hill and spied a secret glen, there you would find, in a sunny house of stone, lived Charlie McCandlewick. He did not have many visitors. Most days Charlie worked in his beautiful garden. He grew raspberries and rhubarb, potatoes and porridge spoons. But at night, in the cold and dark, rain or snow, he would go to work. Charlie McCandlewick was a nice sweep. But wait, chirree-chirrub, before you rush off to your hot chocolate and handful of happy giant butter biscuits, tighten your pajamas because Charlie McCandlewick did not sweep chimneys. He did not sing and dance about sweeping chimneys. It was the boggle creatures of the night that he swept away. All of the things that knock and bump, shuffle and shift, hiss and twist, whisper in your house at night. The screeching and skittering in the old cupboard is not a friendly rabbit, sewing trousers. It is not a cheerful mouse, saving crumbs for the winter. It is something, and it is in your room. People in the farms and villages, in castles and cottages, would send for Charlie. "Something is knocking in the night," they told him. "We're frightened, Charlie," said the children. "A boggle has blackened our bread and plumaged our porridge," they said. What a fuss, you might say, about a few bumps in the night. But remember? Long ago, in Charlie McCandlewick's time, there was no electricity, no television, no telephones, and no teddy bears. It was a dark and dingy time. Now, be brave and read on. With volcano brand gloves, he grabbed the nippers and the nabbers that gobbled in the bedroom beneath the bed. He crept with silent squirrel boots and caught the skelpies that crept underneath the farmhouse floors. With the heather root brush, he swept away the shadows and shapes on the twisting stairs. With an owl-lit lamp, he lured wailing wigmeres. Charlie caught creatures that clacked on claws, and they winged at the windows. And they muttered at midnight, and he put all of those creatures into special bags made of thistle cloth. The boggle creatures did not like being jumbled together in a bag, so they began to screech. They bit and they spit, they growled and they howled, they wailed and they flailed, they moaned and they groaned, they flapped and they fluttered, and they thrashed and they crashed and they gnashed their teeth. Now, they did try to escape, but they could not. So they went to sleep. Charlie was paid for his night sweep. He packed up his tools, gathered up the thistlecloth bags, and walked home for breakfast. You might now be worrying about nippers and nabbers under your bed. Now you might be thinking, I must have some silent squirrel boots. But wait, this is not the end of the story. After breakfast of porridge and raspberries, Charlie walked up to the windy wood. He cut a bundle of pine and soaked it in a barrel filled with a secret mixture of golden barley and 6 kinds of rain. He shaped and he drilled the pine into pipes. He rubbed each pipe with duck oil, and he wiped them together with wildcat whiskers. Charlie used granite grip glue to join the pipes into one of the thistlecloth bags. What do you think Charlie was making? Charlie McCandlewick was making bagpipes, of course. And this is how bagpipes work. The piper blows into the thistlecloth bag and gives it a good slap. The creatures inside wake up and they begin to wail. The pipers blow hard into the bag and give it a good squeeze. Inside the bag, the creatures fight and they flap and they screech and they skirl and they wail and they drone. The piper moves his fingers up and down the chanter just to keep them warm. The piper must keep blowing and squeezing and walking around looking important. Thanks to Charlie McCandlewick, Scottish bagpipes are the best and most famous in the world. The music of the bagpipes can make you feel proud and sad. You might dance over sharp swords or buy a kilt and stride about like a giant chiefsman. You might want to grow a big red beard. Remember, if you ever learn to play, that bagpipes are alive. They sometimes need a drink and a crust of bread to eat. But take care. You must never, for any reason, open the thistlecloth bag and look inside. Here's all of our monsters. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you don't get too scared. Remember, after all, it is just a story.